videos, we talked about subspaces. We raised some questions like if we are interested in some vectors, so whether these vectors mm, fills up the entire vector space or they fills up something less. If that something less is made up of some concrete quantities or some concrete vectors which cannot be made up of each other, maybe something like that. So that with the it will help us in studying the vectors more profoundly if we have the basic vectors, something which cannot be made up of each other and can make everything of that thing. So what I mean to say is this, that so we are interested in knowing in what way those interesting vectors can fill up the vectors. So let's just see that in what way it fills up. We have already learned about linear combination. So we want to know whether the linear combination is closed in the vector space or not. So consider a set of vectors which is containing x1, x2, xk up means x1, x2 up to xk vectors. So these are the vectors that it might contain. Okay, these are the vectors that it contains, and we are interested in knowing that whether what linear combination is does the means if we generate a vector out of the linear combination of these vectors, does that also belongs to the vector space V? Is it compulsory? So the fact goes like this. The fact goes like this, that since a scalar multiplication is closed in V, so any scalar times any vector in that set of vectors V is a vector in V. Similarly, if there is any other vector x2 and you multiply it with some scalar d, then the resultant vector is also in V because scalar multiplication is closed in V. And since cx1 and dx2 are two vectors in V and the vector addition is closed in V, therefore cx1 plus dx2 is in V, which essentially means that linear combination of two vectors is closed in V. Now since this makes a one vector, you can add up as many vectors as you want, and on the similar lines you can prove that sum of any number of vectors or scale linear combination of any number of vectors is closed in V. So by this what we get this idea that if we are interested in certain set of vectors, then we can generate linear combination of these vectors. When we are generating all possible linear combination of vectors, then it makes a vector space. A smallest space that can fills up something which is made up of only interesting vectors. So this is the smallest vector space that is made up of interesting vectors. Interesting vectors by themselves may not be a vector space because not all the linear combinations may fall in the interesting vectors. There may be some vectors which are not in interesting vectors, but they can be generated out of the linear combination of interesting vectors. You can notice that zero vector can always be written as a linear combination of certain vectors x1, x2, xn. It can always be written. So whenever you are making uh, uh, a set of vectors of made up of linear combination of some set of vectors, then zero vector will always be there, because zero is means you always have a zero in the scalars, which when multiplied by any vector will give you a zero vector, and adding all those vectors will give you a zero vector. So zero vector is a linear combination of all, means whatever vectors you give, it will definitely represent, it can be represented by any uh, vectors. So scalar multiple linear combination of vectors. Now when we are talking about this, then we may be interested in um identifying whether can we find out some basic set of vectors that cannot be represented by each other but can represent the entire vector space generated out of them. So so you are still want to generate the whole vector space. So out of their linear combination, after their linear combination, it fills up the entire vector space, but they themselves are cannot be in, represented by the linear combination of each other. So to come to that idea, we need to understand whether can we find out such vectors. What could be the algorithm to find out such vectors? Basically, such vectors are called linearly dependent vectors, which are okay. Let us suppose that you have a set which contains x1, x2, xk some vectors in V. Now, this set of vectors is called linearly dependent if any of the vectors in the set, any of the vector in the set can be represented by linear combination of other vectors. So then the set of vectors is called linearly dependent. So which can which can mean, like, you want to write in the as a scalar multiplication, so you want to say that it can be written as a linear combination of others. So any a single vector, you want to find out a single vector that can be written out of the linear combination of other vectors, something like this, of the same set. So V, x1, x2, xk all are in the same set, and somehow you found that V can be written as a linear combination of these vectors. Then we say that the set of the vectors is linearly dependent. So that's the idea. Now, any linear combination of vectors can be represented by a, a matrix containing the vectors in the columns multiplied by a vector of scalars, a column vector of scalars, right? So, if I write that xj can be written as linear combination of other vectors, it means this, which essentially means that xj is linearly dependent. Xj is linearly dependent because it can be written as linear combination of other vectors. Now, instead of this, I can write xj is equals to matrix, some matrix multiplied by a column vector of scalars lambda 1 up to lambda k, and the matrix contains x1, x2, x3, xk as its columns. Now, understanding that fact helps you to know if ax is equals to b is solvable or not, right? Because ax is nothing but linear combination of columns of a, and if b is not linearly dependent on columns of a, ax is equals to b is not solvable, right? Or in other words, ax is equals to b is solvable if B is linearly dependent or can be written as a linear combination of columns of A. That's right. So that's what we try to understand, right? Okay. So you have certain examples whether you can find if the set of vectors is linearly dependent or not. So let us see this first example. See this first example. Now, in this example, 4, 8 can be written as 4 times the first vector, which means that you can write it as the linear combination of other vectors. So, right? The other thing is coming from the another definition. We have actually given one more definition of linearly dependent, is that if we find out a set of scalars lambda 1 up to lambda k, which when multiplied by some the vectors in the set. So what I mean is this, that if you can generate 0 out of 0 out of the linear combination of vectors, then also you can say that the system of that the column vectors are linearly dependent. Now, taking this particular definition, actually if you take one definition, one of the things is definition, then another thing can be treated as a theorem and you can prove it. So if you think about this particular definition and try to solve this example, the second example, right? So you will find that first vector times lambda 1 plus second vector times lambda 2 gives you 0, which essentially means these two equations. So you need to have a solution for that, and that solution should not be uh, completely 0. Means lambda 1 is equals to lambda 2 is equals to 0. Is if this is the only solution, then they are linearly independent, because you are not able to write a vector in terms of another vector in that case. Because if you take lambda 1 to be 0, lambda 2 is equals to also 0, then the things always be 0, whatever you may try. But if they are not 0, then only the the linear dependence come into picture. Okay, so what we are looking for, if you get only 0, that is lambda 1 and lambda 2 both are 0, this is called, and this is the only solution, then we say it is a trivial solution. If you get something wherein lambda 1 or lambda 2 or both of them are not 0, and still it satisfies this equation, then we say that it has non-trivial solution. And if it has non-trivial solution, then we say that the set of vectors is linearly dependent. So essentially what we are looking for, we are looking for a non-trivial solution. If it satisfies these two equations, if it satisfies these two equations, then we say that they are linearly dependent. But if it has only one solution, only trivial solution, then we say that it is linearly independent. So the question boils down into the fact that whether it has infinite number of solutions or unique solution, which in earlier videos, in earlier lectures, we have seen that the question turns out into the fact that whether the determinant is 0 or not. the determinant of the coefficients is 0 or not. And if the determinant is 0, then we say that it is it has maybe infinite solution or no solution. But if the determinant comes out to be non-zero, then we'll say that there is a unique solution. The unique solution corresponds to 0, because in this particular case, in these two equations, if lambda 1 and lambda 2 both are 0, then you will definitely get the answer. Then both the equations will definitely get satisfied. So in this type of equations where the constant is 0, you will always have a solution, right? So we do not have the no solution case, we have a unique solution case or the infinite solution case. Now if you are looking for one more solution, a non-trivial solution, then definitely you are looking for infinite number of solutions. So the linear dependence problem can be solved through determinants also. In the next video, we will talk about a few more ways to know whether the set of vectors is linearly dependent or not. Thank you.